stayed out of it. I stayed out
Yeah.
of it, and everybody's, oh, you best space. I was like, nope, I don't touch
No,
that one.
not touching it.
I ain't touching that with
Yeah,
10
when
foot
something's over
pole.
100 price to sales,
Oh
hell
yeah.
no, I'm not
Yep.
touching it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not touching that. I was like, yeah.
I'm not knocking the company. By the way, I think Elon Musk is a genius, and I think the company is a great idea, and I think they're going to do extremely well as a
Yeah,
company.
I
But
think the idea is a good idea. Um, but I think that
valuation's insane.
yeah,
They
I
make
think it was
they
just way
make $20 billion
overvalued.
a year, and they're worth 2 trillion,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
it's over 100 times price to sales.
yeah, it's
Like the
way
only
over.
thing that even comes close to that valuation is Palantir, and Palantir's it makes Palantir look cheap. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's
The
crazy,
Palantir's making
man.
money, man.
Yeah,
Palantir is making money. You know, you can't argue with that. And they're getting more and more subscriptions. And I
yeah.
think, and so my philosophy is that once you get Palantir, you're gonna marry the company. Because when I worked for a credit card company, right? And
Hmm.
once we got with the company, it was basically a marriage. You know, we weren't gonna leave them, no matter how crappy they were, no matter how much crap they did, we weren't gonna leave them. You know, because they didn't want to do the research to change the infrastructure and do all that to do everything else. So they stay
Yeah,
married.
for sure. That's why
So what
B2B
I'm thinking
sales
was,
is amazing.
huh?
That's why B2B sales is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so what I'm thinking too with Palantir, as it catch up and it gets more customers, it's just gonna start keep making money. You know, I have it for the long run. Think
Yeah, I
that,
mean, again, it's not that I Palantir is another one of these. I don't disagree with you about the company. I think it's a great company. I think Alex Karp is a freaking genius. I love listening to him. He's one of the most entertaining people to listen to when he's on
I
in
know it's all like,
interviews.
huh?
Like the shit that he said recently was all over the news. I forget what he said exactly, but I think it's a genius. I think they have a great team. I think the business is amazing. Like I've 100% you have my buy-in for Palantir, except the valuation.
The valuation.
Right.
Yep.
The valuation is so stretched. You know what I mean? Like if Palantir was half the price, I might buy it, you
Yeah.
know? But at this price, and by the way, I mean it could grow into it, right? If it keeps growing, maybe next year or the
Yeah.
year after, if the price stays the same, it now becomes a good company to invest in. But for me, this is just is too expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
as
That's why I'm staying on it.
SpaceX, right? SpaceX is a great company. I mean, they're talking about
Right.
making like frickin' I was watching a video the other day. They're talking about making a moon base where they could like refuel on the way to Mars.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
like something that SpaceX is trying to build. Like, what the fuck? Like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me? They legitimately want to make a base on the moon, like a gas station on the moon, is what they're trying
Yeah.
to do. Like, how valuable would that be? You know what I mean? Like,
Go
it's
make some contract
crazy.
deals with aliens and
Yeah. Like
no,
that's
no,
nuts.
it
So
is.
this is like, like what is more valuable than that, you know?
No, I know. That's very unique and it's good, you know, but right now that's in the future. I don't see no purpose of going to Mars, you know, except for exploration, you know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
don't get me
so
wrong.
the thing is though, if you build a base on the moon, right? You build a base,
Mhm.
a refueling station on the moon. It's not like, okay, fine. Elon Musk is saying he wants to go to Mars, and that's the reason why. Sure, whatever. That's his ambition. Cool.
Yeah,
But it has a lot of value outside of that, right? You don't have to go to Mars to have a refueling station on the moon to be very valuable,
right,
right? You could do like satellite repairs, you could do asteroid mining, you could get, energy out in space, you could be mining all sorts of different minerals on the moon. You know what I mean? Like there's all sorts of crazy stuff that you could get from that, you know?
right. And that's something I agree with, you know. I
Yeah.
think that'd be beneficial. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that's going on coming out. I just think everybody just bought the hype too fast.
That's what a bubble usually is, right? So
Yep.
like, so when the tech bubble happened, right? There's a big jump in prices prior to 2000, and then around 2000 it popped and crashed, right? I don't know, whatever triggered it, Y2K, whatever triggered it. But the point is not that like, okay, it went up and went down. It still ended up being very valuable, right? Like there's some companies that came out of that like Amazon, for example, one of the most valuable companies on earth, all these companies that were around at that time if they were able to survive that crash, they became some of the biggest companies on earth. You know what I mean? So it's not like bubbles in this sort of sense, right? There's not a financial bubble. This is like a technology bubble, right? There's you could define bubbles in different ways. Like there's, if you're just spending too much as a government or if interest rates are too low or something like that, that causes bubbles in a different kind of way, right? But this is a bubble based on like a technology and like anticipation of like future results. And almost always when a technology happens, like a big technology boom happens, a bubble happens, right? It happened with the internet, it happened with mobile, and it's happening now with AI, right?
Right.
And now this is starting to feel like an actual bubble, right? Um, who knows when it bursts? It could go up a lot higher before it bursts, by the way.
Yeah.
Just because I'm saying we're in a bubble does not mean that we're going to crash anytime soon. Um, but a bubble is kind of a necessary thing that happens when there's a big new technology, right? Because you don't know where to put the money, right? And you kind of have to overspend. You know what I mean? Because everyone's racing to figure out what's the next Amazon, what's the next Google, right? And you're going to make mistakes, right? And that's what causes a bubble, right? But that's not a bad thing for the economy as a whole, I don't think, right? But but you do have to, as an investor, be careful, right? To not overextend yourself, don't over leverage, don't put your money into companies that are freaking crazy valuations. You know what I mean? So that's my take.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm in it
Yeah.
too.
Okay, I want to grab some more water. We'll come back and we'll figure this out. This is the AI agent improvements. This is still going. Actually, you know what? Let's do this quickly and then I'll grab a glass of water. Um, okay, so we got this back. This is a more reasonable table. I did not start new back test, blah, blah. So the machine has a working alpaca new scalable key, but the wrong alpaca pair can still produce. Okay, the current citadel. Okay, there's the drawdowns. There's all the different Ray Dalio ones, but we don't have all the different citadel. So I agree the real test matrix should be Ray, should not be Ray V9. Okay, they should be separate boss bot strategies. Okay. We got versions currently, and the tag contains alpaca news and contract. Okay. Okay, create four separate strategies. Refresh, select the current. Okay, run one sheep. If alpaca news still returns stop immediately and fix, do not turn. Okay, smoke the other strategies and then over when your back tests. Okay, all right. Please get this entire game plan done right now. And it's going to take a while for these to back test, but we can get those done. And the AI agent improvements, let's see. Research the production conversation, then codex threads. What happened? The conversation exposed several separate failures. Agent ignored an explicit build request. The generate citadel shape was not really a citadel example shape. Agent ignored a run one year backtest. Runtime secret detection. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that we actually got to get into here. And then how are we doing with this? This is still going. Wow, it's taking a while. Okay, so why don't we take a quick break? I'm just gonna grab some more water and then I'll be right back in like 5 minutes, all right?
All right, sounds good.